Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of War Infinite Panels. I'm in a great smile on my face. You guys heard last month's episode of me talking about how great Daniel Didio is. And if you haven't already, please check it out. But I'm also joined by my lovely co-host, Femme Fatale sidekick, Sara.
First of all, I am no one's psychic. I am the random lady who just pops in and out of video games to murder people and then disappear because I have a mysterious and tragic past.
Wait. Does that make you like that girl from, like, The Ring? Crawls upside down through my TV and kill people?
No, I'm like Ada Wong from Resident Evil 4.
She's a hero, you know that, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a bad person. I'm just saying that, like, I go, I ain't no sidekick, bitch. I am my own independent woman who is here to murder you in a very deeply cut slit dress for some reason.
God bless video game logic, but
Yeah.
we got many things to talk about. I think it was last weekend.
Last weekend was everyone's favorite San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, given that we live in hell, I mean a pandemic, we could not have San Diego Comic-Con in person, and so we had it online. And Matt, did you pay attention to anything that was going on?
I paid attention most of the Eisners and any new announcements from the comic industry.
Yeah,
particularly what I follow, but mostly the Eisners were most impressive, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the sad thing is that basically this year, Comic-Con was kind of a dud. There just really wasn't very much going on. So I'm going to give you guys sort of the quick rundown on all the comic related things that came out. But I think you're going to agree when you hear that we just really didn't have very much. Marvel didn't have much of a presence this year, which kind of sucked. Since this is sort of now, Matt, I think you'll agree with me that it kind of makes sense that this happened because, of course, with all the movies being pushed back, they don't want to show us stuff that's going to be coming out in 2022 or 2023 at this point because, you know, it doesn't really make sense for them to do that at this time.
Exactly. As well as even on the comics line, CB Beluski, his plan is to slim down and just promote for 4, 5, 6 books a year. Well, we're here till the books begin in the year, so they're probably the same books, more or less.
Yep, so that kind of sucks. But, you know, TV, there was some cool stuff. Amazon is going to do a new Simon Pegg Nick Frost show called Truth Seekers about paranormal investigators. We also have, and we talked about this, so Hulu had said that they were going to do a Ghost Rider and a Hellstrom show. And then Ghost Rider got canceled along with the Runaways. And we thought, okay, well then Hellstrom's next, right? Like it's also on the chopping block. It turns out incorrectamundo because Hellstrom is actually alive and kicking. They released a trailer for it, a kind of confusing trailer. It is about two twins with some sort of hell ghost powers, and their mom is crazy, and they're going to hunt a serial killer. It's great. So that is coming out. We also heard during San Diego Comic-Con that Amazon's incredibly popular The Boys is getting a third season ahead of its season 2 premiere. That doesn't usually happen, but I think they just, you know, really loved working with the team, and the first show got so much hype. They're probably assuming the second season, now that we're all trapped inside, is going to get as much, if not more hype. So we've got that coming down the way. So if you're, you know, waiting on bated breath as to whether The Boys is getting renewed, it's renewed for a whole third season. And finally, in music news, we will be getting movie news. Music. Who gives a shit?
Yes.
Who gives a shit about music? Music isn't important. Fuck those guys. In movie news, New Mutants released a new trailer and the first scene of the film. Because they're like, I guess hell or high water, we're coming out in August. Hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be getting it on video on demand because I don't know about you, but I've been dying to see this fucking movie since they announced it in 2018. Like, I want to see it.
It's only been 2 years. It's not a big deal. Just 2 years of my life gone.
And the trailer actually makes fun of the fact that they keep rescheduling it. Like, they'll put the original date, cross it out, put the next date, cross it out. I was just like, haha, that's really funny. But, like, also, I don't know, maybe y'all could just fucking pick a schedule and stick to it. And they're like, sounds fake, but okay. I was like, great, thanks, guys. So there's that. That looks good. Honestly, the first scene does look kind of trash, if only because there's no pacing. But you know what? Listen, At this point, they could vomit in a cup and give it to me. I'd be like, you know what? It's fine. It's fucking fine. Just it's fine. And of course, HBO came out with 2 trailers, one for Lovecraft Country, based on the book by Mark Ruff, which is Lovecraft meets the Jim Crow South, and the second season of his Dark Materials, aka the Golden Compass series. That's another one that is coming out. I'm trying to think if there was any other big TV related news business. I mean, not San Diego Comic-Con related. The Witcher is getting a prequel series, because of course it is. And Rick and Morty is getting a 5th season. Basically, it's all TV news. Like, it's all TV news, you know?
Which TV is TV? It's gonna be here forever.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is interesting because, you know, a lot of these, and also I think a lot of people were hoping that Stranger Things 4 would come out with a trailer during San Diego Comic-Con. Netflix really didn't come out with very much during SDCC either. So, like, our 2 big players really weren't in it. DC, you know, has already given out its streaming stuff for HBO Max. I know Infinity Train is getting a 3rd season that's also going to be on HBO Max, but there really wasn't anything that was, I guess, what I would call important news. Like, it was just like, okay, that's all. This is fine. None of this is like, oh my god, I'm so excited. Like, the hype just wasn't there, which really sucks. So, you know, but yeah. Matt, why don't you tell us about the other big thing that happens at San Diego Comic-Con, the Eisner Awards?
Oh, my favorite part of the year, the Eisner Awards. So, the Eisner Awards are just pretty much dedicated to Will Eisner, great creative spirit, one of the great, I guess, the founding father of graphic novels and comics. So he's one of them. He's a great guy. Well, rest in peace. So, this year we had a lot of interesting new topics from previous Eisner Awards and people who won it. But it really depends like what you're looking into. I'm mostly looking to best limited series. I look into best one shot, and I usually look into best continuing series. Those are my top 3 I always look into, because those are like something short, something limited, something that's ongoing, pick up on the go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with one of my things. Best continuing series. I want to give shouts to the entire team. Bitterroot, David Walker, Chuck Brown, and Sanford Green. I knew David Walker and Sanford Green from doing Power Man and Iron Fist at Marvel. I know them from also David Walker did Cyborg. I also know him. He's currently still at DC. I think writing Naomi and Michael Bendis. Sanford Green is an artist. I know him personally. I think he has a webtoon. I forgot the name of it. And I know him particularly for his art. And I'm glad they did it. And Chuck Brown's an independent writer. I've seen him play this. I am surprised this book won compared to the stacked list they had this year. Right. Criminal by Ed Brubaker that just made a comeback, and Sean Phillips that was nominated, did not win. Crowded by Christopher Sabella, Rothstein, and Ted Brand for Image. Daredevil by Chip Dardasky and Marco Cicchetto by Marvel. And Daredevil's always been like this. Daredevil is a low-selling book for Marvel, but always wins awards. I'm surprised, especially Chip Zdarsky taking over the book, and Chip Zdarsky is no more of a comedy writer. I can't believe he got nominated, so I'm like, wow, that's amazing. The Dreaming by Simon Spurrier and Bilquis Everly at DC. I never read this book. It sounds like a Vertigo book just by title alone. But one book in particular I thought would win it would be The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, and Rue Jose by Marvel. Immortal Hulk is turning Hulk into a horror monster. It's like if you combine Swamp Thing themes with the Hulk as this brooding monster that comes over and bad things happen. I thought that would win it because it was such a very different look at Hulk. It was fantastic. But I'm glad Bitter Roots won it. It's a great book. It deals with, Black people in the late 50s, 60s ish. I'm right around the time frame that fight monsters and deal with racism. So it's kind of cool. Good old ungrateful white people even when you save their lives. Yeah, that's right.
That sounds right.
Yep. So it's a good. I personally I actually recommend all the books on this best continuing series. They're all solid. It only could be one winner, but a part of me dies. It's like, as Criminal or Hulk didn't win because I love Criminal. Ed Brubaker's Criminal is one of the best graphic novel series of all time, and Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing is one of his best works. But can't believe it. But thank you, David Walker. I've always loved you as a creator. I always like your webcomic series you used to do called Discombobulated. You brought it back recently after taking like a 3-4 month hiatus, which is more like Discombobulated is a comic series about David Walker talking about his personal tropes in life of being a black man, dealing with reality and making kind of jokes about it. it's different from it does sound Boondocks X, me describing it, but not really, because Boondocks is much more negative and satire. This is a much more realistic and slightly more educated view in it.
Right.
And the thing about the Boondocks, something crap about Boondocks, if you read enough of it, or even if you watch a TV show, it's very pessimistic about Black culture in some aspect. And I understand where he's coming from. It does kind of hurt sometimes when people quote it. It's like, yeah, the Boondocks is right, bro. He's telling you the bad stuff. Like, the bad stuff is forever. So that's a whole different thing. Anyway, back to the next topic.
Oh, I wanted to talk about some Eisner winners that I'm excited about. Matt.
Wait, you read comics? Girls read comics?
Oh my God.
No.
I know, terrifying. So, I wanted to give a shout out to my girl Mariko Tamaki for winning Best Writer this year.
For which book?
She won it technically for all the books that she was listed for, which was Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, the Harley Quinn book Breaking Glass, and her run on Archie. Which, dope.
Wow.
But yeah, she won Best Writer, period. Her book with Rosemary Valero O'Connell, Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, won Best Publication for Teens, and Rosemary Valero won for Best Inker, which is also super dope.
I respect it a lot because of how comics are done now. Inking can be done digitally, and there's less people actually doing inking now. So thank you, someone's still keeping the inking craft going.
Yep. And Stan Sakai also won for Usagi Jimbo for Best Lettering, and a bunch of other stuff like Best Archival went to Usagi Jimbo as well. Like that's a big one. It was an interesting run this year. I definitely because I posted it for the Outerhaven, the full list, and I had to go through and highlight every winner. It definitely seemed like this year was like a really intense and fun year for new voices. So excited for a book that I really liked, which was Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, which I've recommended on this show. I'm glad that its creators and it itself won, because it's such a good book and it's totally worth reading. So please, if you haven't yet, go get it. Go get a copy.
Cool. And I guess I want to go into another topic that also what the Eisner Award also does pretty well is like Best New Series or Best New Series. The winner of this Best New Series surprised me. It's Invisible Kingdom by G. Willow Wilson and Christian Ward. And I'm like, what? G. Willow Wilson? I thought you're at DC. I guess not. Maybe she had an open deal. But it's interesting because obviously G. Willow Wilson, creator. I know she's not, but I keep giving her title. The creator of the new Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. I don't care anybody says she created that character. So she's phenomenal over there. And Christian Ward is the artist who did Odyssey with Matthew Fritschman, aka Matt Fraction. So that's a series team working together. This book is great. And I'm looking at the other books that are on here. Your favorite person and mine, Kieran Gillen was on this book with Dan Mora with Once and Future.
Ooh, that's right.
Something is Killing the Children by James Tynion, who's a well-known DC writer. Which is like, wait a second, the guy who writes Batman and Justice League is writing something is Killing the Children. Sounds like an interesting mystery series.
Yeah, actually, if you don't remember, I recommended it. So.
Oh, that's true. You did.
You just don't listen to me, and I'll do you bad.
I just can't trust James Tynion. All right, his DC book scares me. They're not good. They're not great either.
Okay.
But no. And then one person in particular. Well, I was happy to be on the list. Undiscovered Country by Scott Snyder, Charles Soule, and Giuseppe Colamonchi, and Daniele Orlandini. The only person I'm happy to list is Charles Soule. Charles Soule is a great writer. He writes great stuff. I know him for years. Trust me, his works are good. From Curse Words to his not Daredevil run. From Curse Words to his She-Hulk run. Daredevil run is, I'm pretty iffy on Daredevil. I can go hours about that. So
yes,
those two is,
and you will one day, I'm sure.
Oh God, unless somebody like butchers the book, I'm like, hey, this is why Daredevil's bad. Just like I did for Dan Didio. God bless that man. But yeah. It's just like, I'm glad he's on the list, and I'm glad. But again, it's like if you look at the Eisner series and you just break it down, just looking at these lists, it looks really stacked. This year looks even though for some books you may not know or you had heard whisperings of, it's very stacked. And like, I would gladly, if I had $1,000, give each of these books a try. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
I mean, there's a thing called the library where you can rent a lot of these for free.
The library. I never heard of such an invention.
Yes, well, it's a miracle. All you have to do is get a card by showing that you live where you say you live, and then they let you take out books for free.
Are you? Sounds like madness.
I mean,
Madness.
don't question it. Just take the book and go. Just run. Don't let them catch you.
Don't let them.
They can't stop you once you leave the building. It's the rules.
Oh god. Oh man.
We have fun, guys.
Yeah, fun. Yeah,
Fun.
it's great. But yeah. And I think, and the one, I guess I want to go down to Stan Sakai winning best lettering. I laugh about that inside because it's like, I understand, because, you know, he does his Asaki Jimbo's all done by himself. He is the writer, the letterer, the artist, everything. And I know that he won many awards before for anthology, sometimes best writer. His series got revived. He will be getting a TV show soon. Thank you. Praise Netflix. But I'm like, best lettering? You don't want to give him like most sad samurai bunny? Best bunny boy? Nothing? That's not
not best bunny. Nobody gets best bunny boy. That's a stacked competition.
Stacked competition. And and one this interesting this year is they had two new things I've never seen them done before, and it's like in recent memory. They have something called Best Digital Comic and Best Webcomic.
Yes.
Where they actually even include the links. Well, actually, they include, at least on the website, they include the link and where to actually physically read it and publish it to give the people the respect, which is pretty crazy because for my years of Eisner, they don't really recognize digital people unless they get it print. But It's like, yeah, so I give them a lot of respect for that.
They must have realized that they were pissing a whole like function of people off.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they can't be that hipster. They can't be that hipster.
I only recognize motion pictures posted on Zoetrope. Okay.
Zoe, oh god! If the one that Eisner just said that, I'd be like, I'm done.
I'm over it.
Okay, so one of the best digital comics out on it was Afterlife by Chip Darzasky, who was nominated for Best Continuing Series with Daredevil, and Jason Liu, which is on Comixology, which is interesting. Woo! And the best webcomic is by Fried Rice Comic by Eric Ng on, her Tumblr. Her, which is interesting. And I'm scratching my head about this. I'm surprised that I'm looking at some of these guys. For best webcomic, one of them is from Webtoons, and I used the Webtoon app a lot to read a couple of comics. I'm like, oh wow, Webtoons got a Eisner nomination.
Yeah, surprising. I thought it would have been for Lore Olympus because that's like the one, but I guess it's not done yet, so it doesn't count.
Well, it said best web comics. I don't think many series are kind of finished, but it's interesting though. Lore of Olympus is technically like a remodernization of Olympian lore, so I don't know how much they want to give credit to that quotation mark, but whatever. It pleases to be Lore Olympus. It's good.
Yeah, it's super good.
Yeah, I've been reading it like forever. I'm like 5 chapters behind, but I don't care. It's still good stuff.
I mean, it also just restarted, so you know.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. So that's our opinion of, I guess, if anyone would add to the Eisner Awards, please check out the Eisners. Look at the list, take a book or two, and try them out. These are recommended by top people. These books are really good. Even if you only read Marvel, DC, your books will still be there. Maybe less DC, but hey, you'll still be there. But yeah, it's just really amazing. Like in its true diversity, you got independent, Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, Burger Books. You got creators from mostly some Europe, all over the world. So I really recommend everyone just check out this list and pick a couple of books and let's see if you like it or not.
Yeah.
And also check out our recommendations every episode because Sarah will know. She'll know.
I know all the things. I don't think y'all even understand how many things I know. But I know a lot of things. Okay, guys? Okay, man.
And speaking of things you should know is if you guys have been following Tom King, one of DC's top writers, over a couple of weeks, you notice that Tom King has gotten a little bit of controversy with his artist Jay Lee about some irresponsible tweeting about Rorschach.
No. Sorry, I meant for that to sound more surprised than it did.
Oh, you're not surprised about Tom King saying stupid things?
Nah, fuck no.
God, you're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me this episode, Sarah. I swear.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Okay, so. I don't know how to put it nicely.
Don't.
Okay. Because the thing is, I like Tom King as a creator, but it's really disgusting how he has a set of beliefs that are just bad. Just.
You don't say.
Yeah. Tom King was being pro Comic Gates. Which is not a good look. Comic Gate was essentially a bunch of pissed off fans who were currently mad at the I want to say the entire wave of all new different Marvel, the first time and to all new different Marvel ended 2.0, where Marvel and several of the industry decided to put more people of color, create some changes in the industry. Women and women of color being featured in books, having popular runs, Squirrel Girl being a thing. I guess that was pissed people off. And this not only this trend of thinking was somewhat popular in the industry, it was selling books. Really was.
Oh.
And they were upset, saying this is killing the business, it's killing traditional history, it's ruining history, blah blah blah. And then people might believe that, but actually it was really disgusting. One of the more people that was super loud about it is EVS, also known as Ethan Van Sciver. He was the artist with Jeff Johns, who drew several of his books, such as Flash and Green Lantern, etc. But Ethan Van Sciver has been dropped out of the industry since then because he has horrible beliefs. And I feel bad for Ethan Van Sciver because no one knows why he became a psychopath. Because people who knew him, such as Gail Simone, who were friends with him, like, how the hell he become so disgusted? Because they feel that diversity was forced, a social reform in the comic industry is bad. And I'm like, bro, it's comics. Change always happens. We went from Silver Age to Modern Age. We went from campy superheroes to crime and gritty stuff in Daredevil. We went from, best way to describe it. We went from celebrating, and we just did the Eisners. We went from celebrating single issues. Now we celebrate webcomics.
Yeah.
We now consider them comics, which is the greatest thing ever in the world, you know?
It's almost like art continues to evolve, even if you don't want it to.
Yeah!
Wow. What a novel fucking concept.
Basically. So it's horrible that Tom King had these beliefs trying to defend it, and it was just disgusting. And it hurts me again. What, Tom? Why would you have an opinion? Your entire job you had so far was like, I wrote a book, and everyone just leaves you alone. Oh God.
Because people are dumb and bad at life.
That sounds like a great theme song.
Well, I'll get it some music to it. So people are dumb and bad at life.
And then Tom King has publicly apologized for things he said about it, saying that I should have talked to Jay Quaid but put his career at risk. I made a mistake. I'm profoundly sorry, etc., etc. I hope he means it and can repair a relationship with Jay Lee. But these are bad beliefs to have because, as Sarah's pointed out, art evolves. Even if you don't like it, it evolves. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Just keep to what you have. Just leave the rest for the rest of us because it's supposed to change. Yep. It's like you cannot keep reading Peter Parker being a loser kid from Queens his whole life. It gets boring after a while.
It really does.
Yeah. That's the whole point. And it's very disgusting. And the thing is, as I pointed out, Marvel, all new, different Marvel 1.0. 2.0 was kind of a flop, but 1.0 to that point, and it was successful. Lumberjanes, successful. Mm-hmm. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, successful. We had so many books of doing it, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. These are good stories. They're losing their mind. Younger characters getting a spotlight. Spider-Gwen sold well.
Yep.
Just saying.
Gwenpool, which came the fuck out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. You got to bless Christopher Hastings on that. He's just great. But yeah, Gwenpool. I love that series. Yeah. Like, it's cool. It's not the worst thing ever happened. And the thing is, like, the worst part, not only that it was a successful book, they sold monetarily well for comics. So not only you can't say excuse that diversity doesn't sell, it's like, no, people would actually, buy this if it was on the shelves. So you comic book publishers and writers, keep on crushing it because people will buy it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the Tom King and Jay Lee scenario. If you look more into it, go into it, but you will be pretty sad for Tom King. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
But more on DC good news. I'm actually good news. Yeah. Scott Snyder will be going back to his original series that made him a star. American Vampire. He'll be doing it called the 1970 version of it. And I wonder how more he could take this series because once he put him in space, it got weird. But he's going back with American Vampire with DC, quotation mark Vertigo, Black Label. It's no longer Vertigo anymore, I forgot. So yeah, that happened. And Tom King also wants to improve the DC Writers Workshop Initiative, which was a idea where several writers across the industries will come to this workshop meeting, learn some DC writing tricks, get better in the business, and maybe get a job from DC, and it really helps the business. Because there's a lot of people who are trying to break into comics who just don't know how or don't know how to grind the right way. So this workshop was really great for that. It gave people confidence. It gave people, DC jobs. He wants to bring this back. I wish him the best for it. It helps create new talent and become a visionary. A theme I mentioned the last episode that the other guy who is no longer there didn't have.
Mm.
So yeah, I wish him the best of it. A lot of people came from this program, such as James Tinian and Marguerite Bennett. So that's great. And another thing,
Mentorship.
yeah, mentorship. Yeah, and DC, I think, not DC, and Scott Schneider also mentioned that he's planning on leaving the DC line. He will be no longer writing comics until his contract is up, so he's doing that. But he wants to move up to TV and everything, so he's moving up to Warner Brothers. Even though
Nice.
he's had somewhat of a successful run at Dark Knights of Metal, which I think that's the appeal for DC. I feel at the moment people go to DC because success stories like Jeff Johns and now Scott Schneider can go to DC and move up to Warner Brothers, become TV writers or other project writers, which I think is a great thing. I'm even though I wasn't a fan for all his books and I had opinions about him, I'm glad he was successful. And unlike Tom King, wasn't a jerk. Why would you? Seriously, why would you believe that diversity is bad, homie? You're on planet Earth. Not everyone's white. Seriously.
But I like to think that they are because it makes me feel more secure. Because I'm an asshole.
I'm just picturing an old, bald white man in his 40s saying exactly in that same tone with a valley purse, valley girl. But yeah, that's all the DC news for now. Honestly, if you guys look, I'll plug the rant I did last time, but I'm happy that DC is doing different things and moving people up the ladder. I'm hoping that the writer initiative comes back and fosters new talent or people we never heard and make them write stories, giving them a vision. And hopefully some leadership will happen so these guys can do what they should do. Because if you look at the Eisner Awards, there's not a lot of DC books, and Mariko Tamaki slayed it. She's like on 6 different things, even though she's independent. Her DC books slayed it.
Yep.
So shout out to Mariko Tamaki. You've always been good. Did she create Smile?
Did she?
Did she create Smile? Is that her?
I don't think that is. But you know what? This is what the internet is for. We're going to do a quick fact check.
Matthew. Yeah.
Mariko Tamaki is a badass. Do.
It's hard to believe that she actually was writing these great young adult teen books and young adult novel books and then got a comic gig.
Nope. She did Skim. She did This One Summer. She worked on...
That was it. This One Summer. That was also nominated for an Eisner, I think.
Yes, it was. She also worked on X-23 and Supergirl. And she's working on Spider-Man and Venom Double Trouble. So, yay! And also Lumberjanes and She-Hulk.
Yeah. She-Hulk run is kind of finished, and her X-23 run is, I think, finished. I read those.
Also finished.
Finished. I've read those two, and my opinion of them, if you're used to these characters being total badasses, this is a total 180 from it, but it's a much more emotional story, but it's kind of okay because of it, because it feels genuine. And that's what I think about Mariko Tamaki when she writes these books. She has this very strong way of writing genuine emotion to the characters. Very good at that. And she should win more awards. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to her next book, regardless of comics or not, and I'm probably going to read that book of the guy he's breaking up with me.
No, it's a girl.
It's a girl. Oh.
Laura Dean.
Laura Dean keeps breaking up with me. I'm going to check that out.
It's about the gay feelings.
Oh, even better.
It's really, I have to say, okay, sorry. We're going to sidetrack for just a hot second. It's such a beautiful book. Like, the art in it is just like, like the level of detail, it's so gorgeous. I'm like, it's one of, like, I'm very turned on or off by art styles, like, and depending on who the artist is, if I don't like the style, like, this is what happened with Rat Queens. I was reading Rat Queens, they switched the style, and I was like, I hate this.
So you were cool with, regardless if it's true, he was Upton, because I can't say his full name. What's the Rochester?
No idea.
The first artist. He was, he dropped the...
Yeah, he dropped out of the book, and then they changed the style, I think around, like, volume 4, and I was like, wow, this is ugly, I can't read this anymore.
Yeah, he was dropped off because of domestic issues. That actually happened.
Oh, shit.
Tess Fowler was the artist, I believe. And then we had Sidecheck, that great paint art guy, and his wife. Then they dropped, and they got someone else. Yeah. I say that book is cursed because they keep dropping artists like flies.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't really for, like, if an art style is bad, it's like a complete and utter turnoff. However, the opposite is also true. If the art is like just fits my aesthetic, like if like it just clicks in my little brain, I'm like in love with it, and I will sing it to the praises, even if like it's not maybe as good as other things. It's also why I can't watch Beavis and Butthead. Like, I'd rather slit my throat than watch even 30 seconds of it. I can't. I'd rather die.
I'm looking at the art style right now. Oh man, it looks really good. It looks kind of this very nice blend of manga esque with his coloring scheme. I really
Hmm.
like it. It's very limited in this color scheme, but I like it.
Yeah,
It's really good.
and like it's also just like there's like lots of little details, which I think is really sweet.
Cool. All right, now I'm gonna go. I mean, let me just throw my money at her. And by the way, she did win Eisner, so throw the money at her.
Yeah, throw that money at Rocky. Throw that money at this lady. She deserves all the money. I mean, okay, we're gonna stop there. That song is
So,
probably a very weird song, so we're just gonna bring it back. But yes, she definitely. I can actually look at her awards. She has won lots of things.
not
She's
all
won
the
things
things.
from the
Yeah.
American Library Association.
Yes.
She's won stuff from the Harvey Awards.
Yes.
So, pretty cool, pretty cool. She's and a bunch of other stuff, the Joe Shuster Awards, the Doug Wright Awards,
Yeah.
the Dane I can't even say that. I'm so sorry. The Dane O Awards, which is a literary prize for LGBT writers. So that's cool.
That's cool. And speaking of things that, well, it is kind of cool and not cool at the same time. So we'll go back to DC. I'm not trying to be negative. So DC has announced that there are 3 books they're canceling in the end of October 2020. Batgirl is going to be canceled, is ending. Batman Outsiders ending, and Just the Odyssey ending in 2020. So for everybody who likes those runs, purchase it. You know the end time is coming. Hopefully, if they do well enough the last issues, or if you guys tell DC how you feel about it, just let them know, and maybe they'll reboot it and they'll have a continuation with the same team or the same creative teams. Speaking of other books being canceled, I guess it's 100%. The Amazing Mary Jane will be canceled in October as well. So yep, it's gonna be RIP. You guys, that's another book that's gonna be gone. So I guess the comic book world is getting slimmer. I'm pro that less books. If there's less mainstream books to buy, I have this theory that there's more people willing to gamble independent books or other things, like the Eisner Award list. Seriously, I recommend. I'm not gonna say this again. Pick a book from that list, regardless of if it won an award or not. Try it out.
Yeah,
Yep,
definitely.
And speaking of strange things, more strange things. Grant Morrison is going to be the head honcho for NBC's Universal's comic company.
Whoa.
Yeah. And NBC Universal got Grant Morrison and Boom Studios to help with this. And it's kind of strange because Grant Morrison is, again, a celebrated crate writer. I love him for Animal Man. His Batman run is great. Doom Patrol. He's this great creative fourth wall breaking mind. His All-Star Superman. I really can't give this man enough praise. He's just great at what he does. Truly, he is what he is. And it's strange because at the time when Dan Didio was being let go, there was a ton of rumors on Reddit and the internet, people saying that this guy is going to take over the job and be the co-publisher of DC. Nope. He's at NBC Universal. Going to be writing their books, taking care of it. And which is strange because his experience being a publisher is very limited. He was, I believe, the editor for Heavy Metal. Talented. He understands comics very well. I'm really excited to see what he will do. I'm excited to see what his books look like. And he's Grant Morrison. He's never really delivered, I would say, a bad book per se.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah. And speaking of strange things another strange thing happening in the comic book industry is that their IDW's brand new editor in chief is publisher. He's gone. Judd Myers is on administrative leave. I guess some of the rumors, things going now is that he's pending some charges for properties or things he illegally used. We don't know, but he's gone, and they got somebody else. They just announced this guy a couple of weeks before San Diego Comic-Con, and now he's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how's that possible because they got Jerry Bennington is now acting publisher, and it's kind of nothing against IDW. I think if Judd Myers has done something that's SO related, by SO I mean sexual offender level, you did the right thing. Fire him, get out of here. If he's actually got sick, because there's not a lot of information going around, so there's rumors where if he got sick from COVID and he can't do his job, that's fine too. But I hope it's not the latter, the SO stuff, and I hope that Jerry Bernstein keep the company going. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's just kind of weird that it just happened so quickly. So I think IDW will be fine. Uh, um, they got a good product. They got a couple of books. Some books they have given us, me and Sarah, to review. Wink, wink. We'll probably give a shout out to that sometime soon.
We will.
And yeah, when we stop the singing in our hearts.
Yeah, when we stop just riffing out loud. Yeah.
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 So yeah, I mean, Sarah, how do you feel about? I guess let's ramp out of news. How do you feel about Grant Morrison? Have you ever heard of Grant Morrison? Have you read his books? Are you aware of his existence?
Yes, I do know who Grant Morrison is.
Fantastic.
I'm not a noob. Oh my god, I swear. And even if I was, fuck y'all and your gatekeeping. Just saying. Yes, so I know who Grant Morrison is. Actually, A Serious House on Serious Earth is one of my favorite comics. That's a Batman comic, also known as Arkham Asylum. But like, I think A Serious House on Serious Earth is just much better. Like, it's just more fun. It's more fun to say. I actually, and this is how big of a fan I am of that comic. For my master's exam, I had to write 7 answers to 7 essay questions, and one of them was about this concept called the grotesque, which is like a literary concept. I'm not going to go too into it because nobody gives a shit. But basically, it's about like the blurring of lines between like human and divine, between like scatological and holy. So like it's a lot about like your bodily functions, like pooping and puking and fucking and all that other stuff, and like divinity and higher levels of thinking. And so, as an example, I was like, let's apply this concept to A Serious House on Serious Earth, because the art style is very blended. The story itself is very much about sort of like, the duality of like man's bodiliness and sort of the mental space. So I wrote a whole essay about that because that's who I am as a person. And I don't apologize for it. So yes, I do know who Grant Morrison is. I think his Batman runs tend to be pretty interesting. I don't always agree with where they go. Especially like Batman R.I.P. I was not a super big fan of. But go ahead.
I think you would like his Animal Man because because the thesis you just told me that he kind of does that in Animal Man a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he does. I haven't read like everything he's ever done. I mean, the man has a really storied freaking
he's
bibliography. Like it's
I'll give you guys a heads up. He's been there since like the late '80s. So
yeah. Arkham Asylum was 89, I believe.
Oh geez. Oof.
Yeah, so he's been around. His bibliography has its own Wikipedia page. Like, and he also wrote a book, I believe, called Super something, right? He wrote like an actual like text.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the novel. Yeah, I know what you're talking.
No, it wasn't a novel. It was I'm
it's
so
hard,
mad. Super
it's so hard
Gods.
to think about Grant Morrison.
Super Gods. That's what he wrote.
Super Gods. Yeah.
Yeah, it was talking about understanding superheroes, and the subtitle is What Mass Vigilantes, Miraculous Mutants, and a Sun God from Smallville Can Teach Us About Being Human. I read that book forever ago, and I thought it was awesome. So yes, I'm familiar enough with Grant Morrison's work that like I would generally consider myself like a light fan, not like a woo fan, but like I
read most of his earlier stuff and some of his modern stuff. I think I lean towards his huge fan, even though I'm not a fan of his Batman. When he touches Batman, I don't get it. But when he touches everything else, I get it. I feel weird. It's like, he's still saying weird stuff, but he's doing a Batman. I'm like, I don't get it, because for Batman, he goes OD weird. Whereas other stuff is just plain weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, Seven Soldiers of Victory. That's great stuff. But I'm glad. It's very strange because it's like, and back to you too. How do you feel about him? Even at the time, I don't know if you just said it. There were rumors of him being take over DC because Dan Didio is gone.
Yeah.
Do you think that if he was at DC, he would still do this weird stuff he's doing now? You think he would have been the guy?
That's kind of hard to say. I think Grant Morrison has always been very much that he's like what's his name? Scary Man. Who wrote Watchmen?
Oh, Alan Moore.
Alan Moore, there we go. I think it's always been like Alan Moore, in which he goes to the beat of his own drum and like does whatever the fuck he wants to do. So if he were head of DC, it would definitely be more of a like, I do what I want, and like we wouldn't always understand his editorial decisions. and things of that nature. However,
it would be creative. That much I would say.
it would be fucking nuts. We definitely would not have seen an era like it, but I don't think you would have been happy. There are some people who you like look at and you're like, yeah, you know, that person could be an editor, they could be a creator. Grant Morrison definitely seems like the guy who like needs to be at the helm of his own creations and like does not really give a shit about fielding. Not saying that he wouldn't be a great mentor if he's been mentoring people.
No, I know, I definitely, I get what you're saying. I didn't understand that because what you said, and I agree with it. Is probably one of the same because I don't think he talked about it, but that was one of the reasons why he left DC in the mid 2000s when Dan Didio took over to be editor of Heavy Metal. And it was like, why did he do that so strange? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He just wants to be, I got to do my own creative juices, man. I can't work with this.
Yeah. Totally makes all the sense.
Yeah. But I'm pretty happy of him being there. I'm excited to see his projects will be. He's been, working with screenwriters and putting out comics, which I'm like, NBC wants to get into comics. What a strange time.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that. It wasn't not Diego Luna. What's his name? Oh man, I'm gonna get murdered.
Alex Child?
No. I'm talking about an actor.
Oh.
Star Wars.
John Boyega?
Nope. Other one.
Oh man, that's the only one I know because.
Oh no, Matt! Why? Okay.
Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill wrote a comic. Are you kidding me? People would fucking buy that thing. So Oscar Isaac. That's who. I'm so sorry, Oscar Isaac. If you're ever listening to this,
does he play Poe?
He plays Poe Dameron. Yeah. I was like
the most handsome. I call him the most handsome man in the entire series. That's his power. He's like, regardless what happens, I have great hair, great skin. Nothing bad happened to me.
He's so beautiful. God damn. But he is working on a. I know everyone's like, God damn it, shut up, and be like, no, you don't want. He's going to be working on a graphic novel, which
congratulations for him.
No, I was just like, holy shit! Like, I mean, it's interesting, right? And it's got like a cool looking cover of like him with a bloodied face, which is like, oh, interessante. Trying to find what the thing is called. It's an original series. He's working with Bob Johnson. Oh, it's called Head Wounds Sparrow. So it's coming up from Legendary. So I'm excited for him.
Cool. And I guess the best way to describe it is maybe next year or the following year in Eisner, we'll probably see you get nominated. I mean, if it's good. I hope it's good.
Don't we all hope it's good? Yep. But yeah.
Oof. And man, oh wait, I guess I already did mention it that Usagi Yojimbo is coming to Netflix. We're getting quotation marks Best Bunny Boy on Netflix.
Best Bunny Boy.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I've been a huge Usagi fan for a while now. I've always, since my friend Gabriel been giving me Usagi books and like since my college years, I always loved this character, and I enjoy Sakai's revival of this series because it was always around the 80s and then just got reprinted by Fantastic Books, and then it got reprinted by Dark Horse, and now it's reprinted by WW, and it's like just people are reading it. It's always been, everyone's like, it's like the people who likes comics likes this book. I guess describe it. It's one of those like the insiders love this book, but people outside don't know what it is. But I'm glad that it's finally hit that mainstream appeal. It's doing fantastic, and I want to see this as an animated series. Stan Sakai deserves it all. I mean, he's been doing this since the 80s.
Yep.
So I'm super excited about it.
True that, man.
James Wan will be executive producer of it. I think he did the Aquaman. Is that him?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's James. Yeah, that's Aquaman. Yep.
Aquaman.
I'm pretty excited about it.
I mean, I think it's going to be a whole hell of a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, it's like we don't know till we see it.
Yeah.
So my hopes are high, but they're not like through the roof.
Oh. My hopes already are through the roof because my childhood's getting validated. Tears.
Oh, that's so sad for you that's a thing.
God, Sarah, please. My heart kill me. Let me. And I guess we could. You wanna talk about recommending books for this month's podcast, or you want to start talking about the real thing? Why you break me heart, my small widow heart?
Because it's more fun that way. Obviously, duh.
Oh,
you're like, I know. I'm a terrible human and I don't have shit for nothing. I'm a bad person.
Dab.
Dab.
Yeah.
Dibbity dab dab. Hoobity ba. So here's the thing, because I have not been able to really go out and read things that I would like to read, I don't really have a comic recommendation for y'all this month. However, that's not to say that I don't have other things that I can recommend to you if we are cool with that, Matt.
That's cool. I mean, I'm stuck in the same situation. I'm reading my old books. That's what I got going on.
Yep, and unfortunately, I was not a comic reader until much later in life, so everything old that I have, I've already recommended. I'm pretty sure I already recommended the Vision series.
You have.
I have. What?
You have. I remember this time. I read that book.
That one you remember because it's dope. So I'm actually going to rep a book because I'm also the Outerhaven's book reviewer. I know. It's nuts, isn't it, that I have multiple fucking jobs on this goddamn website. So I'm going to recommend to you guys a book that just came out from Lindsay Ellis. If you don't know who Lindsay Ellis is, first of all, that's sad for you. Because Lindsay Ellis is amazing. She's a video essayist. She used to be with that guy with the glasses until she fucked off and did whatever the fuck she wanted to do away from like that terrible, awful man who runs the website. And she works for PBS. She does literary stuff. She has her own channel with amazing essays that I listen to all day long. And she finally came out with her very first novel called Axiom's End. So Axiom's End is basically, it takes place in 2007, before the pandemic and before everything hit the fan, shit-wise. And basically, I don't even want to give too much of it away, because it's so much fun to read, but basically it's a science fiction book. It follows this young woman who ends up sort of embroiled in a controversy because of her dad, and basically gets entrenched in this cover-up of extraterrestrial beings on this planet that have been around, since forever. And if you know anything about Lindsay Ellis, she super loves the, like, my monster boyfriend trope. Like, Shape of Water, Beauty and the Beast. Like, oh, like, my boyfriend, he's not exactly human, but I love him. That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I personally think that's, like, a really fun trope. And she plays with it in this one. It's the first book in a series. I definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And I'm somebody, and it's very much like, for me, in the vein of David Wong, if you've ever read the John Dies at the End series. No. Oh man, that's another one that's great. It's like a pulpy, it's like if an internet nerd wrote a pulp supernatural fiction book, which is actually, I guess, literally what fucking happened, because David Wong used to write for Cracked, or I guess still does. And it's like, so basically it's like a mile-a-minute ride. It's so much fun. The cover art is fucking gorgeous, because I'm a sucker for that kind of thing, if you couldn't tell about my, like, 20-minute rant about how beautiful Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me is. Definitely highly recommended. It's called Axiom's End. It's by Lindsay Ellis. Also, watch her videos. They are all phenomenal, and I promise I'm going to try really hard to get my goddamn library to let me take out some comic books. We've been sort of stuck in a limbo for a little while.
That is okay. I've been in the same situation. I've been either ordering my stuff through Amazon or my local comic store to deliver, but I haven't lately. But I will recommend a book that's on the Eisner list. I recommend Criminal by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Now, the reason why I recommend this, it's a good series. You can read them in any order you want. The story does connect. It's a great series about the unbellying world, human nature, and just good storytelling. Mm-hmm. Really, if you love crime noir, this will be your jam. Guaranteed. That's how much I love it. Sean Phillips' art has this very cool, serious aesthetic that fits the great and grimy world of Criminal. Good stuff. Now, hopefully, in a month, I'll be able to read Bitter Roots, the first volume, and hopefully, I will be understand, oh, wait, this is Eisner level stuff. That's great. Because because again, that list was stacked, and I'm like, holy snap, it'd be Daredevil and Criminal? I gotta check this book out.
Gotta check it out. Yep, I'm actually waiting on, speaking of waiting on orders, I got the full color edition of Scott Pilgrim.
Wow. I haven't heard that series since, like, ever. I got the old school floppy volumes when it came out.
Yep, these are also going to be big floppy volumes. They're going to be fully colorized. Cool. Which I'm like, ooh, beautiful.
Well, Scott Pilgrim and my take of it, it's a book that fits that time period. So if you read anything in there that sounds like why would people do things like this, that's like the early 2000 thinking. I
Yeah,
trust
no,
me.
no, I 100% am there with you. I know. I haven't actually ever read them before. I saw the movie, and I was just someone was like, "But the comic is so much better," and I was like, "Guess I gotta
Well,
read the comic
Brian Lee
now,
O'Malley was
motherfucker."
in. Yeah, Brian Lee O'Malley was actually in the in the movie. That's him saying it in the movie. That's why he's the best.
Wait.
And Brian Lee O'Malley, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that guy who says the book is better than the movie in the background, that's Brian Lee O'Malley.
Oh shit! Well, I didn't even notice that. Look at that. That's a little thing that I learned today.
That's right. And I learned that Sara is a competent comic person, and judging her is a bad idea because if I do, I'll get my feelings hurt, and it makes me a jerk. Because comic gating for people who don't read comics is a horrible thing to do because it's a small medium, you idiots.
Yeah,
Hooray!
surprise. Also, it ties into there was an "Am I the Asshole" on Reddit over the weekend about a 20-year-old dude who got mad that this girl came in and became friends with his friends, and so he was like testing her on her nerd knowledge, and like he was like, "I almost caught her, but I misspoke a question about Star Trek, and she caught me on it." I bet like it was her fault that like he had messed up the question, and all
So
his
it's her
friends were
fault
like,
for knowing what you were trying to catch her with. Doesn't so it's her for being smart? Is that
yeah,
the question? Yeah.
and
Oh
knowing
god.
Trek, yeah, and then all his friends were like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, stop fucking questioning her. Like, she has a right to be here." And he was all like, "Reddit, look, am I the asshole?" And everyone on Reddit was like, "You're the fucking asshole." He's like, "You guys don't even get it, man." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cute. You're dumb, and I hate it."
I really do hate that, and that's kind of my opinion. Like as we talked about earlier about Comicsgate. Comicsgate was just like a straight denial, and like we need to turn classical form of comics. There is no classical form of comics because if you look at the history of comics, it's evolved. We went from bronze to silver to bronze to modern to this new age of modern comics to internet comics, and even our awards, the Harveys, the Eisners, all recognize all of them. So what's the big deal?
But if I'm not a special person because I have accrued all this useless cultural knowledge, and if anyone could just be friends with anyone, then why the fuck did I spend so much time doing this? It's like, well, hopefully you spend so much time fucking doing it because you actually enjoy the thing that you're consuming. But if the thing you're consuming is no longer enjoyable just because somebody else also likes it, kind of makes it seem like you didn't really enjoy the thing in the first place.
Or better yet, you have inferiority complex. Seriously?
Yeah, basically, it's just like, I don't know why this girl's taking my friends. Like, she's not taking your fucking friends, asshole.
Yeah.
Y'all could all be friends together, but it's clear that you don't want to because you a dick.
Yeah, and it's like, and I hate that argument. It's like, oh, we got classic form comics. Like to me, and this is my opinion. If a bad idea in comics happen, it's bad. That's fine. It doesn't mean you can never use it again. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm a Daredevil guy, and this is how it was. There was a Matt Murdock pretended to be someone called Mike Murdock, a twin brother who was goofy, so he could convince people he wasn't Daredevil. It was a stupid idea in the 60s and 70s. But then Ed Brubaker used the idea of Mike Murdock as a fake ID card so Matt Murdock can sneak to other countries if he almost got caught for committing a crime as Daredevil. See? Even stupid ideas have purposes, and it's just stupid. If it's bad, that's fine. Somebody else can use it later for a better purpose, or just it was bad. Like, do what? Like, oh man, what's his face? The Falcon was a bad Captain America. Not really, I guess. But if it was a bad idea, they'll just never see it again. If it was good, they'll do it again. But at least they tried. That's the whole point. You gotta try, because if you don't try, you'll miss your shots.
Yeah, well, people are dumb and I fucking hate them. People are dumb and they're the worst.
And that will end our podcast this time. Please follow us on social media. Yeah.
Oh, man.
We should just turn to a sing-along podcast.
We really should. Ours is like the best one. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna say it. We are the best.
We're the best. All right, so guys, thank you again for listening to our Rainbow sing-alongs and just takes on comics and common sense. Be sure to give us a like and follow and share this video and article with your friends wherever you find our podcast on. And please do not type F-bombs in the comments, like F you for using your brain. I mean, come on. I have a brain.
Oh, I don't know. Y'all can yell at me however you want. I don't give two shits.
I just can't take it anymore. Like, you can't just say, he's stupid. How dare you think like this? I'm like, it's brain.
Who yelled at you? Did someone yell at us and I didn't pay attention?
Oh no, it was no, just make a segue joke. True story. What happened in my old comic book days when I got into an argument with a guy about comics. It was about I didn't notice at the time because I was never a Spider-Man fan. This guy was arguing about Spider-Man, saying it was a stupid idea letting Spider-Man get rich and become like Tony Stark. I'm like, but if he stays a Queen to forever be a loser, then why would you read it? Do you want to read someone be a loser forever? And he got mad and just walked to the store. And I hate guys that think he's smart because using his brain. He actually said that to me. I hate this guy for being smart and using his brain.
What are you supposed to use your brain for?
I don't know, but apparently I'm not supposed to be using it. So that is the random comic story I have for you guys. See you guys next time.
All right. Later, Gators.